working in education, we agree that mental health and well-being of our students is a massive concern. It has been for many years, but particularly post-COVID as well. I'm curious to hear what the candidates think are the major concerns for our young people on the island in that particular area, and what possible solutions they feel there are going forward.
Thank you.
Thanks for your question. Quite clearly, lots of people on the island do it now. I have to say, our education minister going on the radio every 5 minutes saying children are anxious, I didn't feel was very appropriate. Children like to pick up on things like that, and you know that their behaviours can change. But from the point of view of mental health and well-being, I think we need to make sure that we've got enough educational psychologists. We need to make sure that there's early appointments, no waiting lists. I think there could be a triage process similar to what we have for adult mental health, so that they're triaged. In my manifesto, I've said that I'd like to see mental health nurses in our GP practices, so that if parents go, they can alleviate some of their concerns. But it's not just about the students, it's about the staff as well, because they've had a difficult time trying to adapt to online learning, and we need to be looking at it for everybody within our education setting. Key to it, I think the pressures of coming along with another additional needs code. I think anybody in an education setting will know what additional needs a child has without having a code to go along with it. I completely get that you have to record statistics. We previously had a simple system that worked from stage 1 to stage 5 and a 4+ to help the students with severe difficulties. As education professionals, I think you could probably create that code and then input it into your system quite easily without having a full review. Well, a full review is happening. When it's implemented, it needs to be accessible to parents so you can see what's expected of the schools.
Yeah, mental health is a massive thing, not just for kids, staff, adults, parents. I think that's just really come to light in the last 18 months within the pandemic. I think in some way in the past 18 months everyone has had their mental health affected in some way in a pandemic. You know, stuck in your own home for 10 weeks, you can't really do anything, maybe go to Tesco's if you really wanted to adventure out and stuff like that. You know, that's a massive strain. But you apply that to the kid who's doing exams and examinations and all that. They're some of the most stressful times of your life, or not somewhat, but the most stressful time of your life as a kid, because it's the first time you've ever done it. You're like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? COVID or no COVID, you know? And it is horrendous, you know. I've got a HNC in engineering, and I gave some maths classes to 8-year-olds up to 18-year-olds, you know, to help them out over Zoom and stuff like that, you know, because the parents were like, oh my God, what can I do? These teachers are doing the best they can, and I've said, well, as a knowledge branch, well, I'll try and do what I can. But I myself am a mental health first aider. I think personally, all staff should have mental health first aider if they don't already. I think that is a critical key. I would totally recommend anyone to do a course where possible. But I think kids feel so much more pressure now than I did 10 years ago when I was doing my A-levels, and I think society's changed as well with social media and stuff like that. People just feel a lot more under the microscope than they ever did before. So yeah, it's a massive thing. We need to look into it and how to teach ways to deal with things like that in school as well.
Thank you. Peter?
As far as I'm concerned, I agree with the fact that mental health is not treated properly. The Isle of Man, when I came over in 1986, had a very big mental health facility which seemed to disappear, and I think it's been on a very poor track so far as mental health is concerned ever since then, and I think it continues in that way. I don't think enough thought and enough care and concern has been given to mental health over many years, and of course we're reaping the problems of that now. we should have here on the island a lot more people qualified in mental health issues to be able to deal with the everyday person, the worker, apart from the school children, the mothers and fathers who suffer the strain of not earning enough probably to give their children what they know they want or their contemporaries are getting, those sorts of things, and being locked away essentially by COVID has been another big problem for them, as it has been for everybody else. But you need to have a mental health service which is up to standard, and I'm afraid we don't have one here, and it's going to take a while to get that sorted out. And I think that's the big problem. It's not the fact that it needs proper resources aimed at it to try and do it now, rather than wait for it to evolve naturally. So I think there's a lot to go on it.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the question. I mean, I wish I could sit here tonight and give you an answer. But hand on heart, I don't think anyone's good at the moment. I think this is a problem it's come from somewhere, but we don't actually know where it's come from. I think personally, I'd like to see teachers and schools giving a lot more support. And even just in the last couple of days, I've seen a student expelled because the school in question cannot cope with that child and the situation that they've got. So I think teachers need more support. I think we've got to really start seriously looking at something like the Chief Constable's report. He's highlighted some serious things in his report this year around drugs, mental health, the overall well-being of young adults. And as the current Ireland's Children's Champion, it absolutely scares the life out of me that there's things actually happening with young students at a young age, things that never really happened when we were children. So I don't actually know where the island has gone in the last 20, 30 years, but we suddenly have this problem where children of a very young age are very angry, very aggressive, they've got mental health issues, and as in my role as Children's Champion in the last couple of years, I've had 3 parents come into my office and tell me their story about them being beaten up by their children. Now these children are aged 12, 13 or 14, that would never happen in my time. But then you listen to the Chief Constable's report, he talks about drugs and the effects that's happening, but also what's going on around drugs as well, which I think is causing some of the mental health issues, but also social media as well, so I think what James picked up there. But what I would like to see is our primary schools preparing our students more for secondary school, to prepare for what of the things they may see, that not everybody's nice, the things that they may encounter and how to deal with that, but also parents as well. Parents are part of this. They've got to work with the schools and actually put in place systems as a unit to deal with these children and start giving some of our children confidence. 99% of our children have confidence, but that 1% has got a real problem that we need to resolve. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
The biggest problem is that there's so many different avenues of this situation. They can stem from home, they can stem from school, they can stem from different environments, they can stem from other people, other children. And it's obvious for the teachers and school teachers to be aware at the earliest opportunity that these children are having a problem. And then hopefully something can be done regarding to finding out what the problem is and to alleviate it. It's a very difficult subject, and I think really the sooner that this can be found and